Let's go through the very complicated history of Once Upon a Time and explaining why and how, if Emma and Regina got together, hashtag SwanQueen, it would not be incest. It's more complicated than that. For quick context, I made a video talking about how SwanQueen, the pairing of Regina and Emma, should have been endgame in the show Once Upon a Time. If you haven't seen that video, go back and like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. I got so many comments from people saying I'm defending incest. First and foremost, the definition of incest is the sexual relations of blood relatives, and Regina and Emma are not blood related. And yes, Regina is technically Snow White's stepmother, and Snow White is the mother of Emma, so that technically makes Regina Emma's step-grandmother, but it's, again, way more complicated than that. This is gonna be a long video, so buckle in. Let's not forget that Regina was forced to marry King Leopold, Snow White's daughter.
I meant Snow White's father.
And from very early on, never really had much of a familial bond with Snow White because of what happened with the death of her love, Daniel. So because of that, for a majority of their time together in the Enchanted Forest, she's never been a motherly figure to Snow White. She's always hated her. Stepmother status was rooted in political machinations. There was never a moment in the show where Regina adopted Snow as a daughter or even really seen her as a daughter. Not only just that, but Regina never raised Emma. She was never in Emma's life. They didn't meet until Emma was like 28. Emma doesn't consider her a family figure, and they're technically around the same age because everybody in Storybrooke are frozen in time with the exception of like Emma and Henry. Let's use the real world as context. Let's say I was adopted by parents and then I had a child. Technically, that is not their grandchild, but because I consider them my parents and they consider me their son, then yes, that is their grandchild. But Regina and Snow never had a type of bond like that, and same thing with Regina and Emma. It only applies to Regina and Henry and Emma. He considers both of them his moms. Also, I would argue that the relationship between Regina and Hook,
I meant Emma and Hook,
is more complicated and messy than if Regina and Emma were to get together. Before he got with Emma, he dated Mila. Mila is the ex-wife of Rumpelstiltskin and the mother of Neil, who Neil is Emma's ex-husband and the father of Henry. Again, shit is complicated and it's fantasy. That's way more familial adjacent than Regina and Emma. Again, SwanQueen isn't incest. Regina and Emma aren't related by blood, law, or lived experience. They're two contemporary adult women who met as co-parents, and the story should have developed from enemies to lovers because to me, it makes sense. And the cast and crew acknowledged the ship even though they didn't go through with it. That's just me. What do you think?